Hello? Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, I have good news for you. I have a massive personal loan from Avant to talk to you about. Maximum limit $35,000. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you are to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a massive personal loan from Avant. The maximum loan amount is $35,000. But before I get into the actual nitty gritty, please understand that we have no affiliation, no relationship with Avant. Okay, so this video is purely educational, instructional. They have not paid us to do this video. Okay, now let's first talk about the loan facts. So this is an unsecured loan. So the amount will oscillate between $2,000 and $35,000, right? And the APR 9.95% to 35.99%. And in terms of fees, you have an administration fee up to 4.75%, and the term 24 to 60 months, and the time to funding 48 hours. Fantastic, right? This is real fast. And extra condition, there are none. And the reason why we love Avant is because that you have funds that are deposited as soon as the next business day after approval. You have fixed payments, right? So there are no surprises, just the same simple monthly payments. You have the personal touch of the company. We love the fact that you can talk to real people when you need to, and they do have convenient options. In other words, you want to think about things like you can use the Avant app. You don't even have to do auto pay anymore. They have a wonderful app you can use. So this is kind of good. So this is about the loan, and I will just talk a little more about that later on in the show. Besides the loan, you also have the Avant credit card. I'm just putting this right here just in case you might be interested. And this is a card that is great. You have it is great for folks who are trying to build credit. Okay, and you have the credit limits $300 to $1,000. You have variable APR 24.99% to 29.99%. There is an annual fee that oscillates between $0 and $59. And it's very simple and transparent. It helps you actually build or rebuild credit. And but with this Avant card, what we love is that you are really staying away from hidden fees. There is zero fraud liability for unauthorized charges, and there is zero deposit required. Okay, so it's not really a secured card. It is a card for folks who are trying to rebuild credit or build credit, but it's not a secured card. Okay, so this is pretty good, and we love the fact that you can actually apply very easily and everything is fine. But that's beside the point. In today's conversation, we're focusing on the $35,000 maximum loan amount, and this is what I'm going to talk about. Before I actually talk about the loan, let me talk about the lender. When we talk about Avant, folks, in this show, I am talking to you about a massive loan from Avant, okay? The maximum loan amount, $35,000, and low credit is okay, no credit is okay, fair credit is okay, no personal guarantee. So who is Avant? So Avant, when you think about Avant, I want you to think about an online lending platform that actually offers personal loans to borrowers with fair and bad credit. And so basically, this is a combo of a direct lender and a loan matching marketplace. What are the pros and cons here? The pros, they're able to fund loans the next business day. This is really good. You have the options to change your payment date, and they do have a soft credit check with pre-qualification. In other words, you're having a soft pull. They're not doing a hard pull. I will explain this later on in the show. What about the cons? They do charge an origination fee, as I've said before, up to 4.75%. They don't offer direct payment to creditors with debt consolidation loans, and there is no joint co-sign or secure loan option. And so when you really think about Avant, I want you to think about a loan option that's great for people who have a credit score between 550, 525 to 700. If you want to apply for and manage a loan online, They do have an app. If you're comfortable with that, using technology to manage your loans, this is really good. If you need funds within a business day or two, this is really good to go to Avant also. And if you want to repay the loan over 2 to 5 years, this is really good. Okay. One thing you need to understand here is that the loans are not available in Colorado, Hawaii, Colorado, Hawaii, Iowa, Nevada, New York, Vermont, or West Virginia. They're still working on it, but right now they haven't actually cleared the regulatory elements in those states yet. So after evaluating this lender on tens of criteria, including the loan variety, the loan amount generosity, the cost, the reputation, the customer service, we assign Avant a score of 9.5 over 10. And our reviews, our ratings are corroborated by other reviews online. You can see, for example, from Trustpilot, as of the date of today of this show, they have been rated 4.7 over 5 by 17,317 reviewers. That's fantastic. So really, this is a solid platform to consider if you're thinking about getting a high limit personal loan with bad or fair credit. Now let's talk about eligibility criteria. Folks, what are we talking about here? I'm trying to contextualize the conversation. I am speaking to you about a huge personal loan from Avant. Maximum limit, $35,000. Okay, the loan is open to all kinds of credit profiles. Whether you have bad credit or fair credit, you are welcome. Let's talk about how to qualify. So how do you qualify for an Avant loan? So Avant minimums borrower requirements include, so they want to have a credit score that oscillates between 550 and between 525 and 550. Okay, that's the minimum. So if you use FICO 8, that's 525, 550. But if you use Vantage 3 scores, it's pretty similar as well. They want you to have a monthly net income minimum of $1,200, and this can include alimony or other types of income. So they're pretty flexible when it comes to the source of income. As long as it is legit, they're fine with that. You know what I mean, right? So the DTI, they want you to have a DTI of 70%, including mortgage or rent payment. This is where Avant is a little tough to actually to bypass, because the DTI is you divide your current income, your current debts, you divide that by your income. So for example, if you're making, let's say you're making I'm just going to be very optimistic here. Let's say you're making $10,000 a month and you are paying $6,000 in debt payments. Okay, you're making $6,000 in debt payments. Your DTI is 60%. 6,000 divided by 10,000. Okay, so what Avant is saying is that they want you to have a maximum DTI of 70%, and you also need to have a monthly free cash flow of $500. Okay. So this is something you need to think about. And one thing we have seen in our research is that Avant, in the last few years, they have been actually reaching out to folks who have I would say credit scores as low as 475. Of course, they're not going to put it on the website because for them, I guess from a regulatory or from a strategic perspective, it's not good to publicize their strategy, their business model. But when you apply, if you apply with a credit score as low as 475, you could qualify. The only thing is you got to have some cash. You got to have some money coming in. Okay, so you have to balance that thing, because at the end of the day, if you have a strong financial situation, a strong liquidity situation, you can qualify for a loan even though you have a low credit score. Now let me talk to you about the use of loan proceeds, folks. In this show, I'm talking to you about a powerful personal loan from Avant. Maximum loan amount, $35,000. And if you have bad credit, you qualify. If you have no credit, you qualify. If you have fair credit, you qualify, as long as you know how to play the game. And so when it comes to Avant, you can actually use the cash for a couple of things. You can actually consolidate your debts, your existing debts. You can cover your emergencies. You can improve your home, a lot of stuff. The thing here is that this trifecta, the three elements that I just listed, are the ones that are very popular with the Avant borrowers. For example, consolidate your debt. So if you have too many payments at different rates and schedules, That's bad for the mind and spirit, right? So Avant will help you consolidate those debts, into one single month payments. And so basically, you have one convenient monthly payment. This is really good. You have a single fixed interest rate, and you can build credit with online payments. The thing here is that if you have multiple bills to pay every month, we're all human, right? Stuff happens. You probably forgot. You don't know what happened, and but if you have only one lender that you have to deal with on a monthly basis, this kind of makes things a little easier, I would presume, right? You can also use the cash from Avant to cover your emergencies. So you can get the funds you need fast to help ease the pain. So we all know that the emergencies happen. You can have something like unexpected home and auto repairs, medical expenses, other emergencies. All right. So those are things that may actually where you might need to have a loan from a lender such as Avant. You can also use the money to improve your homes, right? Let's say you need a garage, or you need cupboards, new cupboards, or countertops, whatever it is. You can get a home improvement loan from Avant. So the whole thing here is that with those home improvement loans from Avant, you can handle unexpected costs fast. There is no equity required, right? Because we all know the risk in getting a home equity line of credit. If you fall behind your bills, you might get foreclosed upon. Whereas with this Avant loan, you are pretty good. I mean, you're good, right? No equity required, and you can get the funds for whatever your home needs. So you can replace your old plumbing, for example. You can finish your basement, And the good thing here is that you are dealing with a single lender, not multiple lenders. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still talking to you today about a massive personal loan, from Avant. The maximum loan amount is $35,000. If you have bad credit or fair credit, you qualify for this loan. And let's talk about the evidence needed. So in terms of the evidence needed, you have a bevy of things that they need. First of all, the loan application form. There is some information on the loan application form that you have to provide. For example, why are you applying for this loan? How would the loan proceeds be used? I just spoke about that in terms of the trifecta of home improvement, emergency coverage, or debt consolidation. They might ask you on the application what assets need to be purchased, if any. So it could be a car, a home, a boat, etc. What other personal debt do you have, and who are your creditors? This is important for Avant because they want to gauge the risk of default. They want to look at what you currently have, your liabilities, but also the creditors that you owe the money to. They want to know if this is a joint loan application, whether you are co-borrowing or co-signing, and your personal background. In some cases, Avant might require that you send them your resume. For example, we've seen cases where the lender has asked for resumes. Okay, and if you have let's say you have some blemishes on your credit report, don't worry. You can always explain. You can always speak to a representative. You can always write down. There's something called an explanatory note to credit report, whereas you are providing contextual explanatory notes to your credit reports, especially if your credit score is poor or fair. In other words, you're just explaining what happened. How come your credit score lost weight that fast or lost weight over time? It's all about explaining. It's all about elaborating on what happened. Okay. And Avant might also want you to send them your income tax returns for the last 3 years. And they might also want to have from you your financial statements. So by financial statements, I mean your balance sheet, your income statements, and your cash flow statements, as well as your bank statements. Now, those things that I'm talking about, you don't really need to do them yourself. You can actually download free software online, and you can use the software to actually prepare those statements. So this is pretty easy. It's not as complicated as it sounds, okay? Now let's talk about how to apply. So with Avant, you actually have the option to apply over the phone. So you can call the customer service and member and just explain to them that what you want to do. and they can walk you through the whole thing. Or you can apply it through the web. Okay. So first, I want you to go to there's a section called check your. You want to check your loan options first. So you want to see whatever is available there, because there are different loans. Okay. And so you want to check your loan options. So you can see on the screen here, they want you to put your name, your first name, and your last name, and you have to put your address. You have to put your city, your state, your zip code, sort of like, basic information. They want to know if you are renting or whether you are owner, homeowner. And this is important from a risk management perspective for them. Okay. And so here, so if you own, they want to know your mortgage payment. So you put that, and then you want to put how long you have been living at this address. For them, again, it's important because they want to have an idea of stability in your personal life and stability in your financial life also. So you put your date of birth also. You put your phone number, your email, and then you put a password. So this will help you actually create a profile on Avant. And the reason why they're asking all this information because they're trying to, because they're going to do a soft pull, right? And when they say, "Oh, we're doing a soft pull, we're not going to do a hard pull on your credit," what they're doing actually is that they're collecting data, personal data, and they're cross-matching that data against other databases out there, where they can verify the information without actually pulling your credit report out. Okay. And you can see, so once you put all this, you create the account, you can see on the next screenshot that now they're asking you for your social. So you put your social, you have to put your income tab, whether you are employed, whether you're making money from the side, whether you have whatever, if you're receiving alimony, they will not disqualify you. Okay. And they want you to put down your monthly net income. So not gross, monthly net income. And they want to know what the loan is for. Remember the trifecta I spoke to you about: emergency loans, right? Debt coverage, debt consolidation, and also the home improvement. In the next slides, they want to know here so they ask you how much do you need, right? And how would you rate your credit quality, your credit score? And so you put that information, and then you click that you've read, you just certify that you've read and everything, and you consent to all the legalese that nobody reads, but yeah. And then you have to also remember that if they check your loan options, if they give you loan options, they're not checking your credit score. This is purely a soft pull. Okay, checking your loan options does not affect your credit score. So from there, you will receive loan options based on amount, APR, and terms. And once you have that, just choose what you like. That's it. Obviously, I did not click on this one because we didn't want to go through the whole thing. Even this is purely educational for us, so we stop at the submit button. But for you, if you want to loan from Avant, you got to go a little further. All right, folks. One thing I want to say here is that if you want to increase your chances of, again, getting this loan, and what loan are we talking about here? We are talking about a very large personal loan from Avant. Maximum loan amount, $35,000. Okay. If you have a poor credit or a fair credit, you do qualify. You can qualify for this loan, no problem. And one thing I want to say here is that you want to really maintain good credit. Even though the loan can also appealing for bad credit borrowers, you want to really work on your credit. In other words, there are a couple of things you need to do. You have to first check your credit score. Okay, you want to go on a website called annualcreditreport.com. that allows you basically to check your credit report for free once a year. This is pretty good. And you also want to make sure you want to keep your documents in order. By documents, I'm talking about everything from tax returns for the last 3 or 5 years to your bank statements for the last 3 months to your financial statements. All of these things can be done electronically, right? You don't have to carry or archive all your personal paperwork in the house. No, you can store everything on the cloud, or you can store everything on a USB key drive. You also need to understand that if you don't qualify for a loan at Avant, don't panic. No need to panic. There are myriad platforms out there, and we have covered tens of them on this show that really will be happy to get your business. Okay. And one thing you also need to understand all along is you need to demonstrate cash flow. I always say this. One thing, if you have bad credit or fair credit, that means that you have a skinny FICO score, right? But if you have a skinny FICO score but a fat checking account, this is pretty cool because you're counter attacking against the negative criterion of a negative credit score. But if you have a skinny credit score and a skinny bank account, two skinnies are not really good. You really need to you need to have one skinny. You need to have at least one fat thing. It could be a fat checking account or a fat credit score. If you have both, lucky you. But if you don't have, so you really need to work on your liquidity. That's my point here. You need to work on your liquidity, making sure that you have enough money in the bank, so that when you apply at Avant, they will look at everything, including your bank statements, and realize that, oh, you know what, he or she is there's money coming in every month, and the person is working, the applicant is working. That's great. All right, folks. This was it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about a very large, very generous personal loan from Avant. Maximum loan amount $35,000. And so here's a recap of the conversation. So I first gave you an overview, the loan facts, the lender at a glance, eligibility criteria, the use of loan proceeds, the evidence needed, how to apply, and I gave you some few pro tips. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.